Hello everyone, welcome to Hippodairy. My name is Lingam. Thank you for watching this video. This is part 5 of the series. This will be a two module part. In the first module, we will be seeing the remaining items. In the previous modules or previous videos, we saw about hyperlink and other text controls. Here we will see whatever is remaining, we will fix those in the user control. And in the second module, we will see how we can use this pagination user control inside our main window or like inside a client. Welcome to the next module. So in this one, we will see how we can tackle this display items and this one, because we have seen this and we are only left with this two. See, I know that we are using MVVM, but still there are a couple of things we will put it in the code behind, but these are not related to the actual project or like if you are going to use this in your code, this has nothing to do with the core logic. This is purely based upon the view logic. So that's why I'm going to put the key down function in code begin, but still we will come back at a later stage and we will see how we can fix this. So now, to make things simple, key down. Whenever there is a key down, let me give it a name as well. This name, let's say, what do I call it? T-box display items. This is the main reason why we want to avoid code begin, because we don't need to give the name, we can directly bind them. But we will do it, but at a later stage. As of now, we will continue with this and go here. Key down is equal to, we haven't given the name, x name t-box, what is it, go to. So okay, whenever the keys in this two are changed, we are coming here. Well, we need to check what are the keys that we have here. So since this is WPF, you have windows.controls. So if the keyboard events will be different in user form, like Windows user form controls, here it will be different. Okay, let's try here. Two things. You don't need to put them inside try catch, but it's good way of doing it things. Sure. We'll start with if the key event args dot keyboard device dot is key down. If the particular key, whatever we have pressed, is enter, we are going to process something. To keep it simple, we are using this keyboard method. So what should happen when this is changed? Whenever the display item is changed, we need to recalculate the total number of pages again based upon the total items. So because of that, we are going to have a new method here, which we are going to call as private method. Right now we are going to define a public method. We will say it as calculate pagination. Okay. So here, whenever this is invoked, we are going to recalculate it. How did we calculate before? We calculated it here. So total pages is equal to total items by items per page. We are going to do the same here again, but inside this. But total pages is not here because it is present inside pagination, not total pages. Okay, this items per page is changed here. Whenever user enters some values inside this and then press the enter key, we are going to call this particular method calculate pagination. So this goes back and then calculates the total pages again. So when the total pages is calculated, we have one more issue, like the items per page could be 0. So if items, because users can type anything. Pagination items per page is equal to 0. You need at least one item per page. Pagination dot items per page is equal to 1. So setting minimum. And you have one more issue as well. If pagination dot items per page is greater than total items, because user can enter more values as well. Items per page is equal to total items. Setting maximum. You can also do one more thing here, because like let's say, okay, I will set something else, which is going to be a property prop, and let's call it as max items per page. And let's say during initiation, max items per page is equal to 15. I'm not going to use it now. I will come back to it to see how we can do it. So let's go back here. So pagination is just, so this is like if the user enters 0 or less than 0, we are resetting it to 1, and if he enters more than the total items, then we are resetting it again. So this gives us like total items per page, and after that we are calculating the total pages, and the current page is going to be like whenever user changes something, pagination dot current page, reset it to 1. Let's remove the user from the page and let's do it. So one more thing is missing, which is like calling the method. As of now, we are calling like when the key is enter, we are calling it, but going forward, we will move it also to MVVM method. So this dot data context, which obviously we know is view model, which is this pagination model. We are going to cast it as VM pagination. And then we are going to call the method which is calculate pagination. So this is like whenever it changes, we are going to calculate it. Let's keep it quick. So 25 is like the starting value. Let the user change it to 15. See, this is what I said, like whenever the button is pressed, as of now the button pressed is 1, D1, D is for the key value, so 1. So it's running again, and I press 5. It's running again. That's why I don't need it here. Let's go back to our, and then now I'm going to press enter. The moment I press enter, it's going to invoke the calculate pagination, and inside pagination we are doing the calculation again. So we got the total pages. Earlier it was 50, now it is 10. There we go. The total pages is changed. Page 1, page 2, everything is changed. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove it, remove the breakpoint, and then I'm going to run again to see how it works. Let's say I need 2 items per page, and I'm going to press enter, which means 75 pages are there. I have 27 items, and I have pages 5, and I will say 1000 items, but we have only 250 items or something, so it's not going to work. It's okay, we have only 150 items, so when I press more value, it is going to return back to my maximum value is 150. When I press 0, it is going to return back to 1. When I press 3560, it's setting as 150 and it's showing in one page. So we have like 30 items, 5 pages, 5 items, 30 pages. So obviously the display item is working, the page is working, this is changing, and previous is changing. Previous, okay, this is 1, so it won't change. And next is changing, previous is changing, everything is changing, but we need to go to some value, so we will do the same there. Okay, where is the go to working? Go to, where have we bound that? We have not bound it anywhere. We need to bind it to the current page. It's very simple. Take this from here and bind it to current page. Did I do it correctly? Yeah. So whenever you change the value here, the current page value will be changed. Shall we try now? See, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the current page value is also getting changed. If I change the value directly to 17, this is wrong. This should not happen. And then when the value is 4, this is fine. When the value is 8, this is wrong. So we need to do some changes there. I think we don't need this key down here because it is not going to work, obviously. Maybe if it's required, we will come back later. But as of now, we will see current page. So whenever the current page changes, we need to make some modification. So how do we do that? There are several ways how we can do it, but as of now, I will directly do it inside the pagination model itself. Okay, whenever the current page value is changed, I'm going to see if current page, okay, before setting, I'm going to see that. Before even you set the value, if the given value is greater than total pages, obviously, then you should not do anything. Do nothing. And also, if value is less than 1, we should do nothing. For to these two cases, we should not do anything. Like whatever the value is, we should not change it. We need to inverse it. So I am putting this exclamation mark and inversing it. I am going to cut and paste it here, which means that whenever the event which is not a part of like the value is less than the total pages and the value is greater than 1, which because we have used inverse, only under that cases you just change the value. Other than that, don't do anything. That's what I'm going to say. So shall we try now? Let's try this to see whether our logic is working or not. Let's say like go to page 5. 5 is greater than 3 and also 5 is not lesser than 1. How did it happen? I think I made a mistake. Let me go back and see what I have done. Okay, let's go only to the positive values. If value is less than total pages and also if value is greater than 0, do it. Okay, I think this is going to be better. I don't know why it didn't work before. I don't want to check that. Let's try this and then let's try to, okay, this is also not working. We made a mistake, but anyhow, let us try to see how it works. I'm not even able to enter the value more than the available value. That's better. Can I go back and see what is the issue? If the value is less than total pages plus 1, so which indicates that you can also have the maximum limit as the total page. So let's try again. Going till 6 and let me change the value as 4, 3. If I put 25, I'm trying to put another 5. You're not able to see that, but I will keep to see 25. See, the value is 25, which is not less than the total pages. So we are going to get just left out. That's it. So there we go. We have all the items which is perfectly working as of now. That marks the end of first module. We will start the second module now. There are a few things which might not be a standard practice for MVVM, but still we will come back to that and we will fix it. So now we are so far working only in the helper controls, and then we are setting the data context from the backend code behind. So now what we are going to do is we are going to go to this main page, which is obviously like you will have your DLL and you are going to bind it here. I'm going to assign one more. It should not work because it is, or I will do one thing. Instead of this as bottom, I will call it as center. So I have two items, which is like two pages, like two pages and two pagination control. This is to show that you can use the same pagination in different places. So we will have one view model for this. Let me call it as VM main for here, and we already have Haley things, flipper, MVVM, that models, saying Haley. Okay, let it be there. I'm not going to use anything. Public, change notify model. Okay, there we go. And here we need to have something else. How many paginations we have? We have two controls, so which means that we need to have two view models for the pagination. Let's say prop full. Did I call that here? Not it. We have already linked the helper controls. So this is like the helper controls. Whatever we did so far is how you create the pagination control and bind them there. So that's like one part. So now we are going to call it inside your WPF or whatever it is. Like you have created one control and you are going to use it in multiple places. So you need to call it helper controls dot view models and using helper controls dot models. Okay, what I am going to do now is I'm going to define two properties. One is VM pagination. Both are like, this is for top pagination. I would have seen the top pagination, and it. Let's call it as bottom pagination. Top. Come on, seriously. Okay, I have two paginations, which is called as top pagination and bottom pagination, and then top pagination is equal to new VM pagination. Bottom pagination is equal to new VM pagination. So you will have your own initiation methods to do this. We'll do it as well. So we need to bind this to your control to remember we are now inside the client control, not inside the DLL. We are in the exe file. So VM main, which is new VM main, I'm going here to this code behind. Whatever we have done before, I'm going to remove them all. So I'm going to remove them all, everything. Okay, but what we did, we set up a pagination model and then we set up the seed is basically to change them. Okay, let's come back to this main. Okay, first we have already bound this here, which means that this Windows data context is going to be VM main as usual, since this is the top child. And earlier in our previous videos, inside the control we set the data context. Now we are going to set the data context here, binding to VM's top pagination. And then this will be data context is equal to binding to bottom pagination. Bottom pagination. And whenever this changes, true updates restricted property changed. True updates restricted property change. Okay. So we have set two paginations, but we have not yet set the pagination model. So we need to create the pagination model. Pagination model can be like, you can do it in the initiation stage, as we could see here. Private while initiation. So just set them both here. Okay, there we go. We have our pagination, and we need to have the pagination models, right? So pagination model, p model is equal to new pagination model, and we are going to start with total items per count. Let's say in the first one we have 1000 items, and each page 25. And we have one more model, which is top P model, and we have bottom P model, which will have 2500. This is to show the difference. And then we have the seed top P model, and bottom pagination dot seed bottom P model. Okay, there we go. So we have created two paginations and we have seeded it. Everything is perfect, and we have bound it here, so it's like start. See, nothing is working. Let's go to the next module and see how it's done. It's recap time. This video was a long one, and I have also tried to make it quick. So in this video we had two modules. One is continuation of the previous one, and the second module is using the user control inside the main window. In the first module, it was continuation of the previous one, which is the same, and here we fix the remaining controls, like which was only the go to text box, like when you press that value it goes to the particular page, and we fix the property change on property change methods. And the next one is, we have so far seen creating the pagination user control, which is working perfectly well, but that is inside a separate DLL. Now our main aim is to use this pagination control inside our project. So we are going to see how we are going to implement it. So that's what we started seeing in the second module. Here we created a view model for the main window itself, and this contains pagination view model as the properties. In the next video, we will see how we can fix the issues that we have found in this video. And after that, we will also try to use it in a real example or real world case scenarios.